What it do, flight crew? FTC. Flight team stand up! Hey man, we got 10 meanest players in NBA history. Let's get on to the action.
Basketball is one of the largest professional.
See who's the meanest of all time. All-stars, bench warmers, and all.
Most of the time get treated like celebrities.
I wonder what they mean by mean.
A role where people look up to them and expect them to be role models. But just because they're put in this position and they have good basketball skills doesn't mean they have good people skills. Because
Look
there's
around,
been a lot
Artest!
of great NBA players that off the court and even on the court are flat out jerks. And today we're looking at 10 of them. The 10 meanest players in NBA history, based on their on-court actions, stories that have been told about them, or any public information.
Yep, expect to see Kevin Garnett in here.
Number 10. Blake Griffin.
No!
There's a lot of people that
Blake?
made it into this number 10 spot.
This dude is harmless!
To go with Blake, and here's why. After winning the dunk contest, Blake became an instant fan favorite. But since then, he's kind of turned out to be a It first started with the incident of him punching...
Yo! When was this? Blake, you're a violating ass nigga. What? Bro, no. That's crazy how everybody sees everything. Oh, hell nah. Bro, if I'm the dude, bro, I'm definitely scrapping with Blake Griffin ass, bro. That man look like the fucking Pillsbury Doughboy, bro. He look like the one bread from back in like the 1990s, you know, the white bread, that the cover of that, the dude that used to look like he was on the beach with the little girl and stuff. He looked like the cover of that bread, bro. Come on, bro. That's so like unprofessional and like
him punching the Clippers equipment manager in the face at a restaurant in Toronto and breaking his own hand. And then there was the falling out with Chris Paul after the two used to be close. And we can't blame all of that on Blake because there's a lot that went into it. But when things start to pile up, it can make that person.
That's crazy. I would at least expected it from Blake.
With his ex-girlfriend, where he was accused of abandoning her and their two children to be with Kendall Jenner, especially because Blake Griffin was seen with Kendall just weeks after he canceled his wedding day with his ex-girlfriend.
Damn!
He was sued by her for not paying child support, along with a lot of other things. Keep in mind, though, that...
But you don't know what the woman did, though.
Accusations by his ex-girlfriend, and they are his own private issues. But like I said, when all
you never know.
Start to add up, it starts to make him look like a bad person. Number 9, Rajon Rondo.
Oh yeah, you could expect him to be here.
Boston, Rondo's been described as a jerk with a huge ego by fans, coaches, and Garnett, Paul Pierce, and Ray Allen. And it was something that clearly followed him through the rest of his career, like when he was on the Mavs and started yelling back and forth with Rick Carlisle in the middle of a game, which led to a 1-game suspension. And then when he got a lot of heat for calling an NBA referee a fact while he was on the Kings. And most recently, when
refs deserve it.
5 minutes to offer him a better contract than the Lakers before he signed with them instead. And these are just a few examples of why he's been labeled as a cocky guy with an attitude problem.
He's not good enough to be doing it. Oh yeah, Latrell Sprewell, you can expect him.
Talented player, but
choked out a coach.
A bad dude personally. It all started early on when he infamously choked out and punched his head coach in practice for telling him to make better passes. But even then, that 68 game...
You know what? Honestly, let's have a little bit of some sense here. Just a coach would be like, you need to have some better passes. I think the coach low-key said something to get this man fueled up, bro. There ain't no... You're in the NBA. If everybody's not perfect. You know what I'm saying? Make better passes. I don't see like how that would just get somebody mad. The coach, I feel like, definitely had to have said something. I wonder if there's like any live audio to this.
Of a lesson for him, because he got into another fight in practice with Jerome Kersey. Got kicked out, came back with a 2x4, and got kicked out again and threatened to come back with a gun.
Damn.
And then on top of all of that, he turned down a 3-year, $21 million contract because he said it wasn't enough to feed his family.
You serious?
Which led to getting another contract offer again. Number 7.
What a dumbass, man.
Abdul-Jabbar. Kareem's without a doubt a top 5 player, and most people even have him as high as the top 3 player of all time. But just because he was great on the court doesn't mean he was great off the court, because during his playing days, he was one of the media's least favorite players. He was a real introverted guy.
Bro, he has no
Always
edge.
hated
They
the
just
media,
didn't
the
believe in
person
edge-ups in the
interviews,
70s?
Reporters, and really didn't care for fans.
This dude is
Imagine
ugly
how
as
he
hell. Holy
wrote
shit.
about how when he was a ball boy as a kid and asked Kareem for an autograph, he ignored him and walked away. And on top of things like that, Kareem would refuse to talk to any reporter who acted too happy or excited when they met him or that tried to give him a hug. And would constantly do things like refusing to stop reading the newspaper when he was being interviewed. He always felt that the media was out to get him and always tried to twist athletes' words around to make money. Today, Kareem said that he regrets acting that way, but that hasn't stopped teams from refusing to offer him jobs that he's been extremely interested in. Like how he's been trying to become an NBA head coach since 1999. Number 6, Dennis Rodman.
Yep, expect him to be
the
on there.
court, Dennis Rodman made a reputation for being a great hustle guy and an all-time great rebounder.
Everybody knows Dennis Rodman is
But
just
he was
the
also
dirtiest
known
player in
for
NBA
fighting
history.
Players, getting under other players' skin, headbutting a referee, and kicking a cameraman for no real reason. The headbutt was more of a tap, but it still shouldn't have happened. And it did cost Rodman $200,000. And then
Damn.
for tripping over a camera, he kicked a cameraman with a low blow that put the man face down on the ground for a solid 10 minutes. And that cost Dennis Rodman an 11-game suspension. And then on top of all of that, he's been arrested for domestic violence twice.
Dude is a
and
weirdo,
being
man.
friends with the guy who wanted to take out the entire United States. Number
What?
5, Kevin Garnett. Most NBA players use trash talking to get into other players' heads to try to get an advantage, but KG's a different kind of guy because he would just randomly say the most hurtful personal things possible to try and destroy certain grown men's existence. He called
crazy.
Charlie Villanueva a cancer patient, wished Tim Duncan a happy Mother's Day on Mother's Day, knowing that his mom had already passed away.
What an asshole, bro.
His wife tasted like Honey Nut Cheerios.
Yo, I remember that.
And has made 2 grown men cry on the court. And even during one game, in Joakim Noah's rookie season, waiting for a player to shoot free throws, Noah told Garnett that he was his favorite player as a kid and that he had his poster on the wall. And KG responded with 2 words. You. Number 4.
Damn.
Kobe Bryant. The main reason Kobe catches a lot of hate is because he can come off as extremely arrogant and cocky. But
Come on, bro. Everybody
top
knows
of
he
that,
is a mean player,
back in
though.
2003, where a lot of people still think he was guilty, but got off easy because he was an athlete. And then on
Man, I don't
top
know
of
way to believe that.
Kobe was extremely competitive and has admitted that he.
That's one thing I will
had
say
a
about
balance.
Kobe. Like, I don't ever use that against him. Like, that little allegation that he had and everything like that. That's just like a low blow. Like, I feel like he was innocent with that. But everything else that he's done being mean on the court,
That
he's definitely an asshole.
He needs to get better, which led to most of them thinking he was a real dick. Like when he told SMUSH Parker he wasn't even allowed to talk to him unless he played better, or when he famously drove Shaq out of LA. And he's been known to
I'll
yell
do the
and
same
cuss at
thing.
his teammates in practice and not care for them at all until they prove themselves to him. Number 3, Ron Artest. Does anything really need to be said here?
No.
Alright, I know, but we'll make it quick. Alright, so there's the obvious case of the malice at the palace, where Artest beats up 2 fans, which instantly labeled him as a bad guy for the rest of his career.
Yep.
But a lot of that wasn't really his fault, to be honest. I mean,
Look
punching
at Paul
someone in the
Pierce,
face
just
is
a
always
fucking
your fault.
slob,
But the point
bro.
is, he put a
fat slob,
Ben
like,
Wallace,
fuck.
and in return got shoved.
What is you fucking doing?
His forehead across the court, and even then decided to play it cool and just chill out on the commentator's table. But then the beer cup hits him, and then he runs up and starts to beat down the wrong fan. Okay, so that whole thing's on him. But he did try to play it cool. And he did almost knock the second fan out, but that fan ran onto the court looking ready to fight Artest anyway.
Yep.
But who are we kidding? This is the list of the 10
Look at Tyler Hansbrough, scary
Ron
ass.
Artest has proved that he belongs here by being one of the players most ready to fight at all times, and oh yeah, almost knocking
Boom.
James Harden's head off of his shoulders. Number 2, Karl Malone. If you see my Where Are They Now Karl Malone video, you might know where this one is headed. So in 1980, when Karl Malone was 17, he had twins with a woman named Benita Ford. And then 3 years later, when he was 20, he did the dirty with a girl named Gloria Bell, who was 13 years old.
What? How old? What? Huh? Huh? What? What? Huh? The fuck fuck am I just finding out about this shit now?
All times, and
How old?
knocking James Harden's head off of his shoulders. Number 2, Karl Malone. If you see my Where Are They Now Karl Malone video, you might know where this one is headed. So in 1980, when Karl Malone was 17, he had twins with a woman named Benita Ford. And then 3 years later, when he was 20, he did the dirty with a girl named Gloria Bell, who was 13.
20 years old with a 13-year-old.
18 years after the twins were born, a newspaper article came out revealing to the public that they were his kids. So as a result, only after the article came out, Karl Malone met the twins for the first time, who are now 18 years old. And
What?
since then, he's kept a good relationship with them and has called them part of his family. But as for his other son he had when he was 20, well, he did turn out to be an NFL player, but Karl Malone has never even publicly talked about him and has only ever met him once when he went to one of Karl Malone's signings after graduating high school, only for Malone to tell him it was too late for them to have a relationship. Like, what? How can
What?
you say it was too
How
late?
you say it's too late, bro? You deadbeat ass son of a bitch. Man, bro. Bro, I don't give a fuck what anybody says. You have a kid, at least make an effort to be there in their damn life, bro. You have all that money. Why is it hard for you to make an effort, bro? You could have literally used your money to resolve a fucking better relationship. That's just hurtful, man.
Right. Number 1, Michael Jordan. MJ might be the NBA's greatest player of all time.
I've heard stories about Michael Jordan. Especially one of my favorite artists of all time, you know, Kid Millionaire. He was like one of the first ones that broke out a story about Michael Jordan. You know that famous thing where you try to ask him for an autograph or a picture or something. And he said hell not to that. So then I already knew, you know what I'm saying, there were some stories about.
Jerk of all time too. And the two go hand in hand pretty well, because it's common knowledge that Jordan was the most competitive player of all time, but he'd constantly take things too far, whether it was on the court or in his personal life. There's so many stories out there of why Michael Jordan is a terrible person, and there's enough to make an entire video on them alone.
Wow.
But I'm gonna quickly name them off. He's ruined Muggsy Bogues, Rodney McRae, and possibly Kwame Brown's entire careers with just his trash talk.
Really?
Told the rapper he'd only take a picture with them for $15,000. Got beat by Chuck Daly in a friendly game of golf, so he banged on his door at 6 a.m. the next morning until he woke up to play him again so Jordan could win. He's
Wow, yo.
multiple teammates in the face, including Steve Kerr, roasted everyone from his past in his Hall of Fame speech
What?
instead of thanking them, defriended Charles Barkley because he called him a terrible GM, and even cheated to beat an old lady in a game of cards. And shockingly, well, maybe not, these aren't even all the stories out there that prove MJ is a terrible person. Jordan can be your idol on the court, but he probably
Oh, that move was nice.
And there you have it.
Hey, man, that's the end of the video, man. Hey, you know what I'm saying? It's weird, man, because you see a lot of these great players turn out to not be the, you know what I'm saying, the nicest people on the earth. Thankfully, you don't see Steph Curry here. That's why he's top 3 NBA history, you know what I'm saying? It only takes nice players to just be a nice player, literally, you know what I'm saying? But, hey, man, comment down below, who do you think is the meanest player of all time? I'm very surprised not to see a lot more other players, you know what I'm saying, that didn't make this list.